know about you, but I'm like needing some sleep.
Do we have to do this, Maggie?
I'm gonna go to sleep. I know. I need a rest.
You know, guess what? I put my shirt inside out. That's how sleepy I am. What is the use?
Yeah, if you don't get enough sleep, you're gonna be like us, and we're just gonna be disasters. But anyway.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, now we're all good. So, anyways, we're I'm Maggie Reese.
And I'm John McManamy, pretending to be awake.
Yeah, we're pretending to be lively, and we are in our shack, and we're going to talk about stuff in this shack, and obviously.
Hey, why don't we talk about sleep?
And yeah, we need to talk about sleep, because if you don't get sleep, you're screwed.
Yeah, and this is really serious because.
Yeah.
I was taught.
Wouldn't you say the most serious? I would say
the most serious,
yeah.
Because you can actually look on bipolar, and I've talked to various experts on this. You can look on bipolar as the main illness, and that sleep is as the main illness, and that bipolar is the downstream effect of having a sleep difficulty. Mm-hmm. So I think we can take it from there. In every support group I've been in, anytime I've talked to bipolar patients, maybe you can answer this for me, Maggie. How many have you ever encountered that do not have a sleep problem?
Oh, yeah. It's everywhere.
Everyone.
Everybody.
There's no exception. Every one of us with bipolar has a major sleep issue.
And on that, if we do not have sleep for a certain amount of nights, you will have an episode.
It's like guaranteed.
Guaranteed. If you want to go crazy, and that's even with the regular population.
Yeah.
If you get no sleep, you're finished. You're so finished. Even children, if my daughter does not sleep at least like 9 hours, she's a horrible monster child the next
and this
day.
is where they're talking about restructuring the school curriculum to start later.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a 7:30 start. I'm like, seriously? My kid's brain.
7:30 start. That's insane.
7:30 start.
Oh my God.
Every day I just want to die, and so does she. And I try to have a bedtime at 7:30, but that really doesn't work. And last night her brain wouldn't shut down. She's wired, and there's studies that show that the kids at her age, 9 and 10, they don't really shut down till like 11 at night in their brains. They just don't quiet down. And she ended up coming into our room at like 10:30. Then I'm awake till 1:30. So I'm worn out today. I'm like, seriously? If I don't have my sleep, then I get cranky, and then that sets off a whole chain of events.
A whole chain of events. So our society is crazy. In Europe, there's a lot of countries that start school later, and if you've got somebody with a kid, don't be afraid to ask. What do they call it? IEP. It's you can get your kid. You can get the school to modify its schedule for your kid. I forget what they call that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the abbreviations are IEP, but it's insane to have kids start in school at 7:30. That means they have to wake up at 6 or 6:30.
Yeah, it's stupid. Today I let Allie sleep in, and I almost took her late. Like we got in there right at the end. And because I just let her sleep, and we had her clothes already ready, because I'm like, she needs more rest. I need more rest. And, so we just kind of went late.
And with bipolar, they call it, we're phase delayed.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, we actually, our biological clocks actually start later in the day and takes longer at night to wind down.
That totally makes sense. I did not know that. I feel like I've just been enlightened here.
Yeah, so our 9 o'clock in the morning is the equivalent of somebody else's 6 in the morning.
I'm not, and that's been for me since I was a child. I'm like, why can't I function like my brothers and sisters, right? And I was totally, like, my dad would be like, Maggie, you've got to get up, and I couldn't get up.
I couldn't get up.
Yes, and I still am having a hard time getting up. I mean, the only reason why I am getting up is because I got to get the kids to school.
And then when we get tired, it's not when everybody else gets tired.
Right.
We like to take
I feel like I could be up all night. that's the hard.
Yeah,
hard part.
yeah. Especially I'm a writer, and if I'm on a streak, it's hard for me to slow down. I can go to 3 in the morning very easily.
Yeah.
And of course, that's the royal road to mania.
Yes. That's the
because
disaster.
Unless I decide, okay, I'm going to have a schedule where I go to bed at 3 and I wake up at 11. If I'm working from home, I can handle that. But imagine if you're expected to show up for work at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and you're working on a hot streak till 3 or 4, and they expect you to be in the office at the regular time, performing with your brain sharp. Your brain
it's not going to work out.
It's not going to work out, and you're leading yourself into one bad thing after another. You can actually go through the day completely dragging.
Yeah.
Or you're still in a hyper mode.
Right.
And it could just escalate into mania. Now, some of the genetic studies they're doing, there's a master clock gene. And they actually call it clock. It in capital letters, it stands for something, and it's involved in the pituitary gland and metabolization of melatonin. And they're finding that a lot of bipolar patients have some kind of variant in this gene, and it's a master clock. And once again, bipolar is a cycling illness. So if this mainspring in our watchworks is off, it's going to throw all these other everything else off. And this is why it's legitimate to say that bipolar can actually be a downstream effect of a sleep disorder. There's no faster way of managing bipolar than by managing sleep. And one of the things we talked in another video about stress. Okay, so if we're too stressed to get to sleep, that's going to mess us up. So imagine, if you've had a bad experience during the day, and we have racing minds even when we're normal.
True.
So here we are, 10 o'clock at night. That bastard, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, we're still on that hyper focus.
Yeah, and you've got a book called Runaway Minds. Our minds are literally running away from us when we're supposed to be slowing down. This is supposed to be part of our cycle where we're slowing down at night and getting into a sleep mode. We're getting into a resting mode because our brains need all that time to reset. It's like rebooting a computer.
That is so true.
That's what the sleep scientists are finding. We also need that sleep time. Apparently, if we don't get the sleep time, we're inviting Alzheimer's and dementia in. Amyloid plaque that gets accumulated in our brain. Apparently, the studies are finding that this dissolves or dissipates, whatever it does in our sleep. We need a normal sleep cycle. So
we're just disasters.
We're disasters waiting to happen. And we've got to go through our different states, like our dream states. This is how we process the day's events and sort it into memories and everything. So if we're not going through those dream states,
we're screwing everything up.
We're screwing everything, and then we need our non-dream states because, it's like that C-3PO. I forget the numbers in in Star Wars.
Oh, right.
Where he says, can I switch off now? And they shut down. And he rests the circuits, and you can boot back up.
For the next day,
So we need our sleep.
For me, because I'm so wired at night, and especially right now, because I'm kind of going through my hypomania stage, I guess. I don't know what.
You're exuberant.
Exuberance, yeah. So
you're
from
not hypomanic.
Spring through summer.
I got you. So that's part of the cycle.
Yeah, I'm in
So
this
this is a large cycle. This is seasonal.
It goes all the way
and
until
then our
the fall.
sleep cycle is a daily cycle. Okay?
Yeah, and so I'm taking
cycling illness.
So I'm in that cycle of up.
Yep.
And I have to take the Klonopin almost nightly right now to go to sleep, because otherwise I'll be up all night long. And within 3 days I could have a full-blown panic episode.
So you're anticipating, this is the
I'm already up. I'm up every day. People, and this happens every year. I make like 1 million friends during the spring and summer. And everybody's like, wow, Maggie, you just know everybody. And then I shut down in the fall.
Well, see, this is what society doesn't understand. Okay, because normal people, and I use the word advisedly,
right.
you know, they're predictable. You know,
right.
So the rest of society doesn't understand that we're not predictable. That,
right, we're
that
very
we can,
highly unpredictable.
We can do the work of 3 people at certain times. Other times we're just useless.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that working for myself because I can figure my useless times and try to anticipate my productive times.
True.
But if you have to be on your game every day at work, you know, you got to be anticipating your cycles, and you can't get your sleep off track. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, for sure.
Now, this is another funny thing about sleep I've been reading about, and it makes sense from my experience. Back in the old days, you know, they've been investigating literary records about sleep, and they talk like in the 1500s about a thing called first sleep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what they've figured out now is that we really shouldn't be sleeping in one large block of 8 or 10 hours.
Oh, that's interesting.
We're kind of primed to go like 4 or 6 hours, and when we wake up in the middle of the night, that's natural. Now we can either choose to maybe do something for an hour that, like, you know, maybe a little like reading, or we can roll over and go back to sleep again. Mm-hmm. Or maybe, you know, we can take a nap later in the day. You know, it's like we don't have. It's unnatural to get that whole block of sleep at once. This is a product of the industrial age. In the industrial age, you know, suddenly you had electric lights. You know, they're
right.
keeping us. So suddenly, okay, back in the old days, and anybody who's camped out can experience that. You know,
yeah.
when the sun went down, you know, like we're down. You know, you cannot see, so you're not going to get a lot of work done at night.
Right.
So people naturally went to sleep during those times. People who ventured out, they were asking to get robbed from highwaymen and stuff. So people didn't venture out at night, and they didn't do much work in their houses, and that's all changed. And so we've got these sleep cycles that are millions of years evolution in the making that are totally, and they're having your daughter show up in school at an ungodly. This is
awful.
It's unnatural.
Yeah.
Somehow, we have to figure a way to respond and adapt to this unnatural world.
And that's the hard thing. And I know for me, the best sleep I've ever gotten, and it's just so awesome, is, and I mentioned it in other videos, but when I've been up to Montana,
yep.
and we're in this cabin in the middle of nowhere, and we're on a generator, every night, you know, when we were ready to turn off the lights.
Night really happens, yeah.
Night really happens. We turn off the generator, and you don't have a switch anymore. And everyone went to bed, and the house was quiet.
That's how it happened.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. And I'd wake up the next day, and I'd be like, I'm ready for the day. And it was such a great, because I felt like I really got true sleep. And
yep.
I didn't have to take any sleeping medication. And and there was no time situation going on either, because we're out in the middle of the woods, and
right.
So I'd wake up and it would be like 8:30 in the morning, and I'd come down, and they'd be like, well, are you guys ready to start the day? I'll go click the generator on so we could get the gas going to cook the breakfast, and it was like the day would start, and it would just be just this amazing peace.
Oh, I love it. Sleep. Yeah, I wish we could go back to that.
I know. I was like, wow, living off the grid is truly amazing.
Yeah, I've done
relaxing.
that. Yeah.
It's so relaxing.
So the important thing is, you know, sleep is so important. We've got to make it our highest priority.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
So if you're, if you're in the wrong neighborhood, you've got to contemplate moving. You know, if you're in a neighborhood where there's a lot of car alarms going off, this is going to wreck your sleep. If you're living in a shared room situation or in a family situation, you need the quietest bed.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it is so true. I lived in the middle of San Francisco on Powell, California.
Oh, I know.
Powell.
Yeah.
It's right in Nob Hill.
Yep.
And the cable car route goes right on Powell. You know, it goes up and over to
right.
Pier 39. I lived right there at the corner. And that cable car would come through.
And it's clank, clank,
clank. Ding, ding, ding. And then we had the sirens all throughout the night, and sounds, city sounds, and you're right in the middle of a city. It never shuts down.
Right.
And that made my brain just not want to shut down.
That is
that was
not good for you. Yeah,
No.
what really helped was when I moved to rural San Diego, about 40 miles from the actual city of San Diego, and I was listening to the frogs chirping at night. And those are ambient nature sounds where
right.
when we hear birds and frogs and stuff, that means predators aren't prowling. And that's encoded into our brain circuitry. We automatically relax. That's why they play nature sounds in
Right.
in
They're not
in
doing
healing.
cable car, ding, ding, ding.
They're not doing they're doing seagulls, sea sounds, because these are relaxing. So every trick, running those kind of nature sounds can help you. Certain kinds of music you need to wind down at night. No strenuous exercise. This is not the time to do. It's the time to
True.
dim the lights. If there's any lighting setups where you can wake up to brighter lights in the morning, but go to sleep to dimmer lights, and don't do anything too stimulating. Can you think of because you've had to use every trick in the book yourself.
Oh yeah, always.
And
for
it,
sure.
and as I say,
And,
this is
if I go out and do a big party at night, I'm paying for it the next day. Like I'm talking,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like drinking a bunch of alcohol. I'm just saying if I'm staying up and
well, if I exert myself
exert myself too much, then I
Because
got 2 days that I got to recover from
because-
that one day.
yeah, because I'm an introvert, so in party situations,
Yeah.
I need a long time to recover.
Yes.
I can't.
Yeah. So you just have to anticipate your
I
recovery
can
days.
anticipate like the next day is going to be hard, so I got to anticipate. Okay, I can't be squeezing too much into that next day, or otherwise I'm asking for a
Major trouble.
I'm asking for major trouble. So
And your sleep will continue to get less and less.
yeah,
The
and
next
so
few days because of stress and all these
Yeah.
things that are building.
yeah, and so if you're on some kind of crazy work schedule, nurses in hospitals. Or if you're a salesperson and you're doing a lot of traveling
Or
between
flight
times.
attendant.
Flight attendant, you've really got to.
I know. I can't believe I actually went to a flight attendant job interview once. Like,
Wow.
What? What?
Wow.
Was stupid.
Wow. What were you not
I know.
But you would have qualified. But yeah,
I know, and I would have been like manic in a few days because sleeping
you
in
would
a
have had
different
federal
hotel.
marshals
Yeah.
escorting you off the plane.
Oh yeah, I would have been like Pilgrim on the Wing, Pilgrim on the Wing.
Yeah.
Right. That's Bridesmaids.
Yeah, well,
I
when
would have been that chick.
Yeah, well, actually, when I get on a plane, I usually ask for patio seating.
I know. I feel like when I get on an airplane, I am the most stressed out person ever.
But it did happen in another video. We described bad stuff that has happened to us, and
Yeah.
bad stuff that happened to me in New York. I was 4 time zones out, so my sleep was totally
yeah, and
out
then
of
you
whack,
get screwed.
and I almost lost it in a subway station.
yeah.
So I mean, I was asking for trouble. And okay, so this, before we wrap it up, this is where we really have to know ourselves, because sometimes we're missing out on life if we don't take the risk.
Right.
A few months after that, I took a risk and drove up to Oregon, and it was the most helpful, healing thing for me ever. But
Right. You can't stay safe all the time.
I can't
You
stay
have-
safe. If I stayed safe, I felt I was going to stay safe, and I felt myself sliding into a depression. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, of all things, I said, "That's it." I shoved my didgeridoos into the car, and I was heading out on the open highway,
Right.
and that proved to be the best thing. But going to New York proved to be the worst thing. So this is like risk management. It's very difficult for us. This
Yes.
is, we're supposed, Maggie and I, we've written books, and we're still having trouble figuring
Always.
this out.
Always.
Yeah, but just be aware of this, okay? Because
Definitely.
because if you're not aware of this, you're playing with the risks that we are aware of. At least we can do a risk assessment.
Yeah. Good. Well put.
Otherwise, we are just going to be hit out of the blue by all kinds of bad stuff happening to us.
Yeah,
So-
we don't want that.
So I think that's our take-home messages. And now we can go and have a siesta.
Yeah, we are definitely going to take some naps this afternoon.
Yeah.
So, and before that,
Oh.
we'll just show our books. And I have Runaway Mind, and it's about my journey with bipolar disorder at 19. And And my family writes in here as well of how we all came together and attacked this illness.
Oh, it's a very heartwarming.
Yeah, and it's heartwarming and lots of hope in there. So it's not just devastating. It's got just lots of positive stuff going on.
Yeah, and this is my book, not just up and down. It's about mood, but I have a little bit about Maggie in here because what she experienced with her family coming together, needed to be included in my book. And she describes mania so well that she was an embodiment of a lot of what I look up to. So. Yeah, and thank you. So
awesome. Well, tune in for more. We got lots more fun stuff coming up. We're going to go off location in the near future, and
we're already off our minds anyway. So why not go off location?
Yeah, we're going to go boom.
Yeah, we're going to go into the desert, into the seashore.
We're going all over.
And we're going to later on. We're going to bring guests on, and I got to figure some long distance technology. So we're going to talk to all kinds of cool people. So stay tuned.
With us.
Yeah.
And subscribe to our YouTube because we want to build this. Right now it's like grassroots, but being bipolar, we want it to like get bigger and help more people. So if you guys do that, it will go bigger. So.
Yes,
all right,
definitely.
Thank you for that. Take care.
Okay. Guess what? I put my shirt inside out.